The range went silent in a way that felt wrong. Not the normal quiet that followed a shot. Not the echo fading, not the instructor's barking times or corrections. This silence had weight. It pressed against the ears. Even the wind seemed to pause, as if it understood something irreversible had just happened. The steel target at 800 meters still swayed, got a clean center hit. Dead center point one round. An O correction shot. An O warm-up. Someone behind the firing line muttered, "That's impossible." The range master slowly lowered his binoculars. His jaw tightened. He checked the distance marker again, as if it might have moved on its own. 800 meters across wind. An O spotter call point one round. Hit. The SEALs standing behind the line didn't clap. They didn't cheer. They stared, some with disbelief, others with something closer to anger. Who took that shot? One of them demanded, and O1 answered, T the far end of the firing line. A shooter rose from the prone position with calm, controlled movement. She cleared her rifle, locked the bolt back, and stood. She didn't smile, didn't look around, didn't need to. Her name tape read K. Hale? Someone scoffed. Another voice, sharper. That was her rifle. A third, louder now. Run it again. That was luck. The range master didn't respond immediately. He was still staring through the glass, still locked on the target, still seeing the hole exactly where no hole should be. Finally, he said, "Shooter, confirm." She stepped forward. Her voice was steady. Flat. Professional, confirmed. That was all. No explanation, no defense. Just a fact. The murmurs grew. She didn't even dial. No spate. Wind was shifting. That shot doesn't happen. Someone laughed. Not amused, not impressed. All right, a senior operator said, folding his arms. Who authorized her on this line? That's when the range master straightened. Everyone did, he replied. The moment she checked in, the SEALs turned back toward the shooter, really looked at her now. She was smaller than most of them. Lean. Still. Her face showed no tension, no satisfaction. Just focus. Like the shot had been expected, not achieved. Run her credentials, one man said. The range master didn't move. She already did. Another SEAL stepped forward. His trident patch was worn, faded from years of salt and sand. What unit are you with? He asked her. She met his eyes, detached. That answer didn't help. What team? None currently. A few scoffs. A shake of the head. Figures, someone muttered. The senior operator turned to the range master. She's not cleared for this test. Pull her. The range master hesitated. She's cleared, he said carefully. By who? The shooter finally spoke again. By the same authority that cleared you. That snapped attention like a slap. The senior operator took a step closer. Watch your tone. She didn't back away. Watch your assumptions. The air tightened. Someone else said, louder now. Who even is she? The range master exhaled, as if he'd hoped it wouldn't come to this. Shooter Hale, he said, voice firm, permission to disclose? She nodded once. Catherine Hale, he announced. Sniper qualified. Operational deployments classified. And he paused. Every eye was on him now. And she outranks everyone currently on this firing line. The range didn't just go quiet. IT froze that a beat passed. Then another. The senior operator frowned. That's not funny. I'm not joking. What rank? The range master looked at her, then back to them. Lieutenant Commander. The words hit like a shockwave. In O1 spoke. Someone actually took a step back. A lieutenant commander on a training range. I in prone. I know announcements. Just a single shot that shouldn't have existed. The shooter, Lieutenant Commander Catherine Hale, picked up her rifle, slung it smoothly, and waited. Not for permission. Not for approval. For the range to catch up to reality. Because this wasn't her first time proving people wrong, and it wouldn't be the last. Years earlier, long before. Anyone argued over that shot. Hale had learned what it meant to disappear in plain sight. She wasn't loud in training, that wasn't aggressive, didn't boast. That made her invisible and underestimated. In sniper school. She let others talk. Let them brag about hits, kills, times. She focused on breathing, on fundamentals, on the wind brushing against her cheek like a whisper. Her instructors noticed, Not because she demanded attention, but because her targets told the story for her, consistent, unforgiving, precise that on her first live fire qualification, her spotter lowered the glass slowly and said, "You sure you're not cheating?" She hadn't answered. She never did. Because every shot was already decided long before the trigger broke. She read terrain like language, wind like intent, distance like memory. In combat wasn't louder for her. The IT was quieter on her first deployment. The team didn't trust her. They watched her more than the enemy. Wondered if she'd freeze. Mississippi hesitate. She didn't. She ended the firefight before it started. Point one shot. High value target down. Ambush dissolved. Lives saved. After that, they stopped questioning her presence. They just stopped questioning, period. But respect, she learned, didn't travel far. Every new unit reset the doubt. Every new range repeated the ritual. Who authorized her? Who does she think she is? Who took that shot? And every time, the answer arrived the same way. Cold, precise, undeniable. Back on the range, the senior operator cleared his throat. "Permission to continue the exercise, ma'am." She nodded. "Granted." The range master swallowed. "Next shooter." "No." Hale interrupted. "Reset the target." Some SEALs exchanged looks. She continued, calm as ever. "Same distance. Same wind. I'll shoot again." A pause. "Without a spotter," she added. Someone laughed nervously. "Why?" She glanced back at them. "Because the first one wasn't an accident." She dropped back into prone. The rifle settled like it belonged there. The range held its breath. And somewhere, far downrange, the target waited to be humbled again. The rifle barked again. Not louder. Not faster. Just final. The round cut through the wind as if the wind had been lying about its strength the whole time. 800 meters away, steel rang out. A sharp, metallic cry. And the target jerked violently before settling into an embarrassed sway. Another dead center hit. Same spot. An O correction. An O adjustment. An O hesitation. The silence that followed wasn't disbelief anymore. IT was surrender. Several SEALs instinctively removed their ear protection, as if sound itself had become unnecessary. One of them slowly exhaled and said, barely audible, "That's not human." Lieutenant Commander Catherine Hale stayed prone for 2 seconds longer, confirming in her mind what the range already knew. Then she cleared the weapon, rose smoothly, and stepped back. An O drama, an O triumph, just completion. The senior operator who had challenged her earlier straightened his posture. His voice was different now, stripped of edge, heavy with recognition. "Hell of a shot, ma'am." She gave a single nod. "Training standard," she replied. That stung more than arrogance ever could have. The range master finally found his voice again. Range secure. Weapons safe. As the shooters began clearing their rifles, a few operators stole glances at Hale. Not hostile now. Not dismissive. Curious. Cautious. Respectful. Point one of them approached, younger than the others, eyes sharp. "Ma'am," he said, "with respect, where did you learn to shoot like that?" She paused, considering. "By missing," she answered. "Enough times to stop doing it." That was all. Later that day, in the debrief room, the atmosphere was tense in a different way. This wasn't a place where rank usually mattered much. Performance did. Trust did. And for many of the men in that room, trust had been built over years of shared danger. Hale sat at the end of the table, hands folded, listening as if she were the junior one. The commanding officer of the facility cleared his throat. "Lieutenant Commander Hale has been temporarily assigned here to evaluate long-range engagement standards." Someone frowned. "Evaluate us?" "Yes." A pause. "She's not here to train," the CO continued. "She's here to find out why we're missing shots we shouldn't be missing." That landed hard. Point one operator crossed his arms. "We're not missing." Hale finally looked up. 3 out of 5 teams on this range failed first-round hit probability past 600 meters today, she said calmly. Wind calls were rushed. Breath cycles inconsistent. Ego overriden patience. No accusation, just facts. The room didn't argue. Because she was right. She stood and walked to the board, picking up a marker. "You don't lose accuracy because you get worse," she continued. "You lose it because you stop respecting fundamentals." She drew a simple diagram. Wind vectors, elevation drift. Combat punishes shortcuts. No one interrupted. For the next hour, she broke down shots the way a surgeon explained anatomy. Clean, unemotional, exact. She spoke about shots she'd taken and shots she hadn't. Times when pulling the trigger had been wrong, even when it could have ended a threat. Discipline, she said, is knowing when not to shoot. One of the older SEALs leaned back and sighed. Where were you deployed, ma'am? She paused. Places where missing once meant someone else didn't come home. The room went quiet again. That night, alone in her quarters, Hale cleaned her rifle the way she always did, slow, methodical, respectful. She thought about the first time someone had demanded to know who took her shot. IT had been years ago. Different range, different uniforms, same doubt. Back then, she hadn't had the rank to freeze a firing line. She'd had to prove herself over and over, shot by shot, mission by mission. She remembered one operation, cold, high elevation. A hostile leader moving unpredictably through a village. Civilians everywhere. The team wanted the shot. She didn't take it. Waited 0.2 hours, 0.3. Then the man stepped clear for less than a second. She fired 0.1 round. Threat downed and collateral damage. Later, one of the operators had slapped her shoulder and said, "Good call, waiting." She'd replied, "I wasn't waiting. I was listening." That had been the moment they stopped seeing her as the female sniper. She was just the sniper, and on the final day of her assignment, the range was full again. Word had spread. Everyone wanted to see her shoot. Hale didn't care. She ran the same drills, held the same standards, failed people when they deserved it, passed them when they earned it. The end of the day, the same senior operator from the first morning approached her. "Ma'am," he said, hesitating, "I owe you an apology." She looked at him, neutral. "For questioning you," he continued. "For assuming." She considered him for a moment, then shook her head. "No," she said. "You don't." He frowned. "I don't. No," she repeated. "You owe your teammates precision." "That's it." Then she added, softer, "Doubt keeps people sharp. Disrespect gets people killed." He nodded slowly, understanding now that, as she packed her gear, someone asked, "Will we see you around again?" Hale slung her rifle over her shoulder. "Only if you miss," she replied. The next morning, the range log recorded a simple note. Incident: none. Anomalies: none. Shooter responsible for initial long-range impact: Lieutenant Commander Catherine Hale. Result: standards revised. But that wasn't how the story spread. IT spread the way legends always do, a whisper, a question, a challenge. Who took that shot? And the answer always came the same way. Not loud, not proud, not explained, just proven.